All right, back to the word problems. So here we go. Four more. As shown in the accompanying diagram, a ladder 13 feet long is leaning against the side of a building so that the foot of the ladder is 5 feet from the building. How far up the building does the ladder reach? Now, they're being generous in this in that they're giving you the picture. Sometimes they don't, and they'll expect you to just, kind of draw a building, draw a ladder against it, and do it from there. But in this case, generous. Now, the one thing they don't say is that this forms a right angle. The one assumption they allow you to make is that buildings and things like that are constructed perpendicularly to the ground. So in this case, it is of course a right triangle. They're asking you how far up the building the ladder will reach. So that's up the building, right? From there to there. Okay. One, two, three sides of a right triangle. One of them's missing. Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. X squared plus 25 equals 169. Subtract it. Isolate x. X squared is equal to 144. Square root to fully isolate x. And x is 12. Now you might be recognizing that number, those numbers again. 5, 12, 13. That's a common set of numbers used for the Pythagorean theorem. They're referred to as a Pythagorean triple, your teacher may have taught you. 3, 4, 5, and 5, 12, 13 are the two most popular Pythagorean triples. All right, a little trickier now. The length of a diagonal of a square is 12. Gotta see it. That's my square, decent. Diagonal, 12. All right, so you know it's a square, so you know they're right angles. Find the length of one of the sides. Oh, okay. Well, what do I know about the sides of a square? Hopefully you remember that they're the same. So if that's x, that's x. So I can actually do the Pythagorean theorem right now because I only know one side, but I know that these are the same. So it's x squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. All right? So I hope you're comfortable with the algebra. What's x squared plus x squared? 2x squared. Then you can divide out the 2. X squared would equal 72, square root, and x is going to equal the square root of 72. Now, what you could do is throw the square root of 72 into your calculator and then check to see which one of these works out to be the same ugly decimal. Or remember to split. The biggest perfect square that's divisible evenly into 72 is 36. So 36 and 2, radical 36 and radical 2. All right? And that makes this 6 radical 2, which is right there. All right? What is the length of an altitude of an equilateral triangle whose perimeter is 12? Well, hopefully you remember from, I think it was our very first lesson, that an equilateral triangle has all three sides equal. Well, if the perimeter is 12, you would just divide that by 3 to figure out what each side is. So each side would have to measure 4. Now, they're saying the length of the altitude. So I'm going to draw the altitude. All right, so that comes down perpendicular. Now, what the altitude also does to an equilateral triangle, though, is it's going to take this 4, it's going to split it into 2. It also bisects that side. So now, they want the length of this altitude, fine. So look at this triangle. I'm going to redraw it right here. 2, 4, right angle, and they want that. Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 2 squared equals 4 squared. So that's x squared plus 4 equals 16. Subtract. X squared equals 12. Square root. X is the square root of 12. You look for that, it's not there. That's annoying because, again, they want you to simplify it. Break. Radical 4, radical 3. X is 2 radical 3. Okay? Boom. And finally, the lengths of the legs of a right triangle are 5 and 7. Find what is the length of the hypotenuse. Well, this is a lot more straightforward than the last 3 we just did. So they just didn't give you a picture. Draw a picture. It's a right triangle. So draw it as a right triangle. The lengths of the legs, all right, so not the hypotenuse, so the legs are 5 and 7. All right, so this is my right angle, right? I drew it that way, so I know this is my hypotenuse. What's the length of the hypotenuse? You want to call it C, call it C, call it X, it doesn't matter. Now we'll go through and look at the answers. They're all radicals, so don't be surprised now. So that's 5 squared plus 7 squared equals C squared. That's 25 plus 49 is equal to C squared. I'm going to add these up. That's 74 equals C squared. Square root, and C is the square root of 74. All right? So take a look at all those. I know that'll help you in your Castle assignment. And that's that. All right? Have a great day and a good rest of your weekend. All right? Talk to you guys soon.